Hi everybody, welcome back to GearGossip. Tonight I'm going to review something that is supposed to be sitting in my rack, and it's my latest acquisition, the Brunetti Mille custom release all-tube guitar preamp. And you think it looks sort of used? It is used. I got it on eBay. Gone are the days when almost any manufacturer had at least 5 rack units in its lineup. Tube preamps, tube power amps up to 400 watts. The rare old times for me. I'm the rack guy. Some call it the 80s. What I'm trying to say is something like this is hard to find these days. New. And all the better, it's not that expensive at just a little bit over 1,000 euros. Handmade in Italy. What could you wish for? Oh, okay. Input. A clean channel with pre-gain, master 3-band EQ and a bright switch. Identical crunch channel, but no bright switch, a raw switch instead of it. And a lead channel that is 2 lead channels. There's a plexi mode, 3-band EQ, gain and master, and a modern mode, separate master, and a step up, more gain, the mains. Surprises on the backside. Power in and the fuse. Yes, you can access the fuse without using any screwdrivers. MIDI in, MIDI through. MIDI? Yes, these switches are just switches. And if you want to change channels, you can program them. It's pretty easy actually. Send the program change like 66 and say, this is crunch. Hold down until it starts blinking. And then you have programmed your crunch to 66. Yeah, and you can program lead to 64 and to 22. So it's pretty well suited for being used in a multi-effect setup that is MIDI controlled. As usual, you have 2 outs, left, right, and 2 emulated outs. Emulated? Well, sometimes they sound absolutely horrible, sometimes they sound decent. We will find out. And you have an FX loop. Well, surprise. The nicest thing about this FX loop is it's switchable. Serial to parallel. That is not that important to me actually, but the most funny thing here is this switch. It says rack or stomps. That's the working level for this FX loop. Yes, you can put pedals into this FX loop. Usually you're running on line level for these multi-FX units, but pedals accept guitar levels. Very, very, very low. You can put your chorus pedal, your reverb pedal, your delay pedal, something like this. Your whole decent floorboard with the exception of distortion boxes into that FX loop. All of these analog thingies that you have lying around in your cupboard. And this is the aux in. This is not for your iPhone or iPod whatsoever for rehearsing late at night. This is an additional input. If you have mounted this thing into a rack, a big rack, and you might want to wire it from the backside, this is the way to do it. Don't use both at the same time, but you can use all outs at the same time, according to Mr. Brunetti. So much for features. Okay, the next thing is screwdrivers and sound. The signal chain for this video would be a double neck guitar featuring 2 humbuckers, Seymour Duncan SH1 and SSL2 single coils. Nothing special, pretty basic. Into, of course, the Brunetti preamp the video is about. Of course, a speaker, Eminence CV75 and Shure SM57 microphone. But I'm playing through this Koch solid state power amp. And now I hear you whining, why are you not using a tube power amp? Any tube amp can add sparkle, their own EQ, the harmonics, the compression, overdrive, distortion a tube power amp can produce and add to your signal. But I don't want to get away with diming the master and pushing my tube power amp to its limits and giving you a big fat AC/DC type overdrive sound while the preamp is perfectly clean. We are talking preamp sound. We want to know how this preamp sounds. So no tube amp saturation in this video, no overdrive from any ugly tubes. Another reason not to use anything that adds saturation, compression, overdrive, blah 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 to your signal is the way you're intending to use this box. If you, like me, relying heavily for your live sound on time-based things like delay and reverb, right after the distortion. You want to amplify that, and you don't want compression, saturation, overdrive after your delay or reverb sounds. So if you're one of these guys, the preamp sound alone would be much more relevant than the combination of tube preamp, tube power amp. That's why I'm using a solid state. Now the clean channel and just the gain knob. Oh, both humbuckers. The bridge humbucker. Clean, no distortion. Neck single coil. Very hollow. And a good deal of snap on the bass strings. Bridge. Present, bright, but friendly, not aggressive. Halfway up. Getting fatter. First hints of distortion. Neck. Ah, shimmer. Warm and friendly, nice and open. Could use a little bit more aggression. Maybe, not necessarily. More 3/4 up. That's definitely no longer clean. Bridge humbucker. Quack, quack, quack. Neck single coil. Ah, that's nice. Open, shining, shimmering. Well, and fully up. That's the clean channel. Yeah, that's the gain range of the clean channel. Let's settle for this. And now for the bass. Well, that's a lot of bass that you can dial in and out. But it's not falling apart. It doesn't really matter if you put it up like this or like this. All usable. Nice. The mid-range. Gone are the mids. It retains this smooth and even character, but from all scoop to quite a lot mids, everything is usable. And now for the treble. Muffle. If your pickups are too bright, the opposite. very much shrangle, and now even more. Neck humbucker. Well, everything from straight to the board clean, mild overdrive, thick humbucker sounds, very hollow chords, very effective equalization, and a biting bright switch. What else could you wish for from a clean channel? Now for the crunch. The same procedure as with clean. This is the crunch channel. EQ is in the middle, master is almost halfway up, and the gain is almost nothing. This very smooth and even nature. More. Well, that's classic amp almost fully up. Even more. Crunch. And with this raw, you're getting more aggression, much denser top end. My taste would be to leave it on all the time. Now for the EQ. Gone is the bass. In is the bass. Reaching very low, but still this smooth character. The mids. Oh, whoa. That's what I call scooped. Almost too much. Very effective. Full mids. Now for the treble. Greatly reduced, but this still comes through. Fully open is a lot. Ha ha ha. Very effective EQ. You've heard the gain range and you've seen this EQ settings. You can have this. Or that. Out of the crunch channel. And now for the 2-mode lead channel. This is the lead channel, the plexi mode. EQ is in the middle, the master is compensating, and the gain is almost not. Classic rock sound. All that bite and less bass than the crunch channel actually. more raw, more tidy. Single coils. Honk. More. Single coil bridge. Bridge humbucker. More. A lot of treble content, very aggressive. Next single coil. Tone poly. More than enough. And if that isn't enough for you, there is still this step up. And the EQ, bass. Cleaning up things even further. Or the opposite, thickening things up. Again, feel free to use the full sweep, mid-range. Gone are the mids, very scooped. Or the opposite. And there's these classic rock mid-range. And now for the treble. Muffled. Or screaming. Again, this EQ section leaves little to be desired. Everything is usable. Feel free to use the full sweep, like thick humbucker sounds. Or scooped. Now, and if that isn't enough, too little aggression and too little scoop and a little bit too little definition down here, you can always step over to modern. Plexi mode. Modern mode. A touch of angle in there. Plexi. Much more tame, a little bit rounded off. Modern isn't. And there you have it. But modern can also be not that aggressive, huh? So much for the sounds that you can get out of the preamp through a solid state power amp and a speaker. The next thing is the emulated out. When I wired and tested the whole thing for this video, I forgot to change back to speakers, and I did the whole clean crunch lead, modern lead, blah 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 with the emulated out and did not even notice. That should say a lot about me as a gear reviewer, and says a lot about the emulated out that is quite good actually. So now you're going to hear excerpts from the whole review with the emulated out. Like this for single coils. Or that for neck humbuckers. Or that with a bridge humbucker. For my taste, a little bit more treble, mids up, and less bass. Good enough. Wide and open, crunchy sounds through single coils, single notes with authority, and satisfying chords. Neck humbucker gets fast. And the bridge sort of rocks. Gain a quarter up, master in the middle, and here we are with the bridge pickup. Favorite setting for lead may be like this. Or rhythm. But you can actually scoop this one, huh? Like. But that's not the nature of the beast. For this nature, we have to switch over to modern. And this is modern. Some of you rockers might feel at home. So much for running through all these dials and switches, and now for some sounds that I eked out of this box. So much for the Brunetti Mille custom release tube preamp. Maybe I'm biased, so my opinion doesn't count that much because I'm using this permanently in my rig. Anyway, as you've heard, a very smooth, very even sound that can be tweaked in any direction with a built-in equalization or any equalization that's behind it. How could you use it? Well, you could use it all by itself with the emulated out, rehearsal late at night, gigging without speakers, recording without any crosstalk live on stage, blah blah blah, and so on. You can use it with pedals in the effect loop. That's very, very cool. You can use it with combo amps, like I do. I use the power amp of my Mesa Boogie Subway Blues, the effects loop actually. So I have this Class A 18 watts power amp and 6 channels of tube in front of it. So you make a 6-channel amp out of a 1-channel amp. And you can use it, of course, with any multi-FX, like I do, on any given tube power amp. Scale it to your taste. 2 times 20 watts for very small gigs or extreme tube saturation. You can dial in a lot of different sounds with timing the master and pushing your tube amp to its limits. That's the AC/DC style music. Clean pre and maximum master for your tube amp. Unachievable with this solid state thing. And you can use it for scaling, depending on venue. 20 watts, 50 watts, 2 times 100 watts, 2 times 200 watts, and even more insane things, all with the same sound. Any more to say? As you can hear, I'm losing my voice by now. And for more information, please check Brunetti's website and please bookmark GearGossip.com for even more stuff to be reviewed. See you.